let's talk a little bit about AI and how it transforms your productivity and your creativity. AI is reshaping the design landscape by automating repetitive tasks, and it enhances creative possibilities. So I just want to explore how these tools work, how you can use them in your everyday workflow, and how you can use AI to gain inspiration and help you. It's here to help, it's not here to hurt. Well, it is here to hurt because it is taking away jobs. But if you learn to use it rather than just ignoring it in total, you won't get left behind, because AI, as the rest of any innovation, isn't going anywhere. It's just going to continue to grow and grow and grow. Here are a few AI tools that I typically use and that we're going to be focusing on for this bootcamp. The first one is obviously Photoshop. Now you might think of Photoshop as just thing, but Photoshop is artificial intelligence. If you think about it, you're digitally creating, digitally manipulating images. Before, you would have to cut these images out, place them where you wanted to place them, scan them back in, recolor them, all using your hands. So it is a form of AI, just a basic type. Just Google, just like a calculator. It's artificial intelligence. But in Photoshop, they do have advanced AI features such as content aware fill, neural filters that we've used a few times during this camp, and like sky replacement, select subject, and generative fill as well for the most recent update for Photoshop. After that, I use Midjourney a lot. It's not like an everyday thing, but I do use Midjourney every week. Midjourney is just an AI powered image generation tool that just creates cool visuals from text prompts and image references. And you can use this for design elements and inspiration. So you can use it to create backgrounds, create smoke elements, give you inspiration, text elements. Now, Firefly is an Adobe image generator but is usually used just for text. I haven't really ventured out using Firefly to create any imagery, but it creates text really, really well. And I'll go ahead and attach my breakdown of Firefly just by itself along with the rest of the classes in this particular class. So I'll put that as a bonus class in this one. And then you probably won't believe this, but I do use ChatGPT every day, like I use Google every day. And ChatGPT is just an AI language model that it usually assists me with brainstorming, writing, and refining my creative ideas. So if I'm stuck in concepts, or if I'm stuck writing an email or something and I really don't know the most professional way to word what I'm trying to say, I'll just write in my email and I'll just say, rewrite this professionally, and they'll give me a more curated way of saying what I need to say without just talking like, hey, yo, I need my money. It'll be like, excuse me, sir, if you can please pay me my funds at a reasonable time frame. Like, it'll change your words to that instead of just saying what you actually want to say. So ChatGPT, once again, assists with the brainstorming and refining the ideas that I usually have. It enhances my creativity so I could think more or less what I'm trying to do instead of the words I'm using about it. And it's just a good overall productivity source and tool. And especially if you have creative blocks or you need a fresh perspective on certain things, you can just talk to ChatGPT. ChatGPT also creates images. I've created a few images with ChatGPT, but nothing that's like to call home about. It's just basic, very, very basic imagery. That's pretty much all of the AI tools I use. If you start getting into motion, there's a whole nother set of AI tools. There's certain tools that you can use, such as Dolly. Dolly's another one. And there's just so much, and they're coming out with stuff all the time. So now we're going to create a cover art using some of these AI elements and combine the images in Photoshop to create a dope piece. So without further ado, let's hop into Photoshop and get started. As you can see, I have Photoshop open. We have a 2000 by 2000 pixel canvas. We're just going to go ahead and use the paint bucket tool, pressing the letter G to use this paint bucket tool. And we're just going to fill it with black. I like to work from black. I don't normally work from white at all. Most of my styles comes from a black base. I usually do a lot of dark contrasty type of covers. If you haven't noticed by now, that's just my thing. I think they call it Rembrandt. It's a style of design, dark, contrasty color. That's just what my eye gravitates to. Other people have different styles. It's all up to what you like to do. Well, first things first, I opened up Midjourney. Midjourney, you can find a lot of inspiration here to find stuff. First things first, I want to type in the word ice. Let's just see what we get. We get a few cool things. Oh, this is dope. This can inspire a cover. And for me, I'm just showing you what you can do using Midjourney and the rest of these AI tools, so I don't want to get too deep. For instance, this is dope. If you wanted to use this as a ground, you could, or you can get inspired. I want to make an ice cracked ground like this. You would save this and bring it in and copy the highlighting. This is pretty cool. Ice cube. Let's go ahead and save that. I like how all these ice cubes are kind of like stacked up. But let's go into my likes. I already have a good flow of stuff that I've used. I can use this to get inspired by. I would do a cover something similar, but I want to take a photo of this and then redo it or something. I'll probably do that when it gets cold outside, but just to get inspired. That's all this is, to get inspired. So anyways, I found this picture of some ice cubes. It looks like it just says airbrush Jesus black and cross black background illustration. And this is the idea that they used to base it on top of that. Now this is cool. They have people's heads in here. This is pretty fire. I like how it looks with the people's heads in here too, in the ice cubes. So I want to use this as an idea, right? Now, normally you would have to go find ice cubes and do this, but we just actually saved an ice cube. So what we're going to do is we're going to create a prompt so we can have something similar to what we just saw, whereas the ice cubes stacked on top of each other. So I just want to show you guys how to use this for a reference. So then we can take this and bring it into Photoshop and do the next step. So I already found an ice cube. And if you wanted to, you can go ahead and find another ice cube by going ice cube under random and typing in ice cube. And now you'll have a bunch of different ice cubes. You can have dark ice cubes. I wanted something that's a little bit more translucent. So that's why I went with this one. But they have all types of ice cubes. Fake looking ice cubes, dripped out ones with stuff already in them. But we want our ice cubes to be empty. And we want 9 ice cubes stacked on top of each other. I like this ice cube. It's kind of broken up a little bit. Image of a cracked ice cube. What we're just going to do is going to use this one that we found, which is this translucent ice cube based on our image. But instead of people's faces, we're going to use skulls. Okay, so first we're going to use this as an image. So use this image. Before, this used to be on Discord, so hard to really curate the image that you want because it took a lot of tries to fine tune that prompt. But now they have all these things that you can use to help you, and they have the web platform that you can create images using just the website. And then we're going to use this as a style reference because we want all our ice cubes to be styled like this. And then we're also going to use the prompt, and you just press use prompt here and it already gives you the prompt number. So we want 9 square ice cubes stacked on a black background, shot straight on. And let's see what we get. You gotta wait a second. If you go into create, it takes maybe 30 seconds to a minute, and then you'll get some results. We're gonna have 9 ice cubes. We're gonna need to find a skull that has a different points of view, something similar to this. So we're just gonna keep this up just for style references. Actually, I just wanna copy this image and drop that into Photoshop just so we have it as a style reference. Now that our creation is done, this is what we have, but this is not what I wanted. I wanted something like this, but it doesn't have 9 ice cubes. Like, what's up with the 9 ice cubes? So if I did it again, using this terminology, I typed in 9 square ice cubes on a black background, shot straight up. It's uneven. Far. I like these ones. These are a little bit more clear, and I feel like I can stack these a little bit better. But these is perfect. We're going to just download this. Now we're going to vary. Now you can remix it subtly, strongly, or you could do subtle or strong. So strong means it's going to be way different. We're going to press 1 strong. We're going to press 1 for subtle. And let's see what we got. This one is pretty cool, but we want to remix this. So instead of varying with vary, you don't really can put in your own prompt again. But if I put in subtle, remix it, and I typed in some other words, it'll remix it using what you already have as the image reference. I like this one. And then this one is the one where we remixed it, and then we just added stacked on top. But it's still only 4 ice cubes. And for me, the ice cubes are looking worse and worse. Like when it looks farther away, it looks cool. But as you get close up, I like this ice cube right here. I like how all these work together. This one is pretty cool too, but we're just going to go with this one right here. And then what we're going to do is upscale it subtly. And you can upscale the creative too. So I just want to show you what it looks like when you upscale it. And upscaling just means it just makes it look more real. So the pixelation, the resolution, as you can see, it was kind of pixelated a little bit, but as you upscale it, it just makes everything a little bit sharper. And there's another tool that you can use to overall just upscale it to make it look more realistic. We always gonna refer to this reference image. Go ahead and lock this, and you could just turn it on, turn it off as you need. We have a few different ways that the faces are, but let's go ahead and stack these ice cubes a little bit better. These ice cubes came out really, really good, but I don't want the background in there. So I do want to remove the black. I want to use a few cubes from each one. For this one particularly, we're just going to go ahead and quickly write an X through the ones that I don't like. So then we can go ahead and know which ones we're going to replace. So I don't like this one. I don't really like this one. Don't really like this one either. I'll keep the rest of them. So we're really just going to replace these. So which ice cubes that I'm going to use to replace them? I want to go for this one right here, this one right here. We need 3 of them. I like this one right here. So now we know the 3 that we want. So let's go ahead and start masking those out. Okay, we got to duplicate this 3 times because we need 3 ice cubes. We can go ahead and turn this off for now. We're going to work on this one. Just go ahead and use the polygon tool and then just make a nice strong square selection around this ice cube. Then we're just going to go ahead and click it, mask this out. We're going to turn this off for now just so we know ice cube. So now we have a free ice cube here. Now we're going to turn this ice cube off. We just did this one. So let's do this bottom one here. Use the polygon tool to go ahead and select what you need. We got another one. Turn that cube off. Now for the last cube, same thing, polygon tool, and then use the mask. We can delete this selection layer now and then go out. And now we have 3 new ice cubes that we can just move around. Go ahead and save it. Let's go ahead and just subtract these ice cubes for a second. Turn this main ice cube layer back on. And what we're going to do is select the ones that we don't want. So we could go ahead in here, use the polygon tool, same thing, select those. And we could just make one big selection for this since they're all kind of locked in together. And then we can go ahead and mask that out. As you can see, those still remain. So we just have to press Ctrl-I to invert. And now we can go ahead and delete that as well. Now let's go in and start placing some of these ice cubes. Let's turn this ice cube on, see where it would work best. I like how it works with this. That's cool. This cube is cool off to the top right here. Let's put that underneath this ice cube. And then let's put this ice cube right there at the top. And for me, I'm going to select all these ice cubes and set these to screen. And now let's start trying to get these ice cubes a little bit closer together. They're a little bit too far apart for me. I want them to get them. They're really stacked on top of one another, really nice and close. Based on our reference here at the bottom, they look a little bit closer together. So that's what I want. Make sure we got that uniformity here. Lock these in right here. This one is cool. Move it up. Yeah. And now we got to do that for each and every single one. So we're going to have to copy this at least 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 times. So 5 times, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And now we'll just start masking out each cube. So now that we have it selected, we're going to go select and then inverse, select the inverse, use the brush tool, make sure your flow is up. Turn that cube off and do the same one for each cube. So we already got a top cube, so we can keep that one. We could just do this middle one because it's already like selected by itself. Easiest way. So now we have all our ice cubes. We've used 2 different AI pictures to create these ice cubes. Now, you could have created these ice cubes by taking pictures of ice cubes or digitally painting some ice cubes or finding a photo of some ice cubes and getting those levels exactly where you want. This is a quick way to do it. Sometimes the budget don't really add up to what you need to actually do to complete whatever vision that they have, but you don't want to be the one to be like, I can't really make it happen for that budget. There's budgets for everything. So let's go ahead and just start control selecting each layer, and you can control and select each cube by going over it. And as you can see on the layers tab, as I move over and hover over the different cubes, they're being selected by which cube that they are. So let's go ahead and finish stacking these cubes up into its own right. And it don't have to stay how it is. You can move the cubes around. You know what I'm saying? Make some bigger, make some smaller. Try to get it to line up to where it would be at if it was stacked for real. You can even move them. I want them flat on the bottom, so when they it's laying down, it's straight, like it's a flat surface. This cube works. Maybe make that cube a little bit bigger. This one's weird because it has that weird bottom piece. So maybe this one needs to be rotated so then it can stack properly on top. And then it works with this one a little bit. We're going to go ahead and lock all these in. We're going to call these ice cube, and then go ahead and set that to the middle. Now we have to find a skull that can be in each direction, similar to how this is filled up. Head over to Envato Elements. I already typed it in. It's called, I just typed in skull, and under the 3D elements, when you use 3D elements, you can go ahead and rotate the skull exactly how you need. Bottom, top, sides. So let's go ahead and just find a skull and just start finding different angles that we can go ahead and drop it into. And you just drag it like this. So something like that. This is cool. We're going to go ahead and download as a PNG. And then you just want to find obviously 9 different angles. So now we've dropped in our human skulls, y'all. So let's turn these off. And now we're going to start working and start putting all these skulls in there. Now, you're probably like, oh, how are we going to get the skulls in there to make them look like the reference? So this skull first and foremost, picking where you want each skull to be. So I will just start laying out each skull and see which one works. So I feel like this one is on the right side. So maybe it can have it looking over to the right. Come back to this one. This one is cool. Maybe this one could be up to the left here. Let's start moving. This one is pretty cool right here. This one is cool right there. This one's laying on us. So maybe that one will go right here. This one is cool. I like this one kind of looking up at you. This one can be on the right side, looking over here. This one can be over here to the right, looking up. And then this one finally can be looking down. So they all have their respective spots. So it doesn't matter even if you turn them off. Now they're pretty much all in their respective areas. Let's just start working with this one here. Now you're probably like, how are we going to get this to work with the image underneath? The fill, you could try to fill. That works. That looks like it's in there, but it loses its brightness and its luminosity a little bit. Even if you drop the opacity, it's the same thing. You see it, but it's just taken away for some reason. For me, what I would do, you check the blending modes. Even the blending modes, it looks like it's in there a little bit. Not gonna lie, if you use Screen, that works a little bit. Double click on the layer, and then you're gonna work with this underline layer. And you see me work with this a little bit throughout, but there's different ways that you can use these, not only as far as working with color, but working with your images too. So we go ahead and take this. If we do the black, that means everything that's black, that's on a black space, means it's gonna be evaporated. So we want this white space to be evaporated because it's ice, you know? So we're gonna just start slowly taking it down a little bit. And then press Alt and then drag so it's a little bit smoother. And you can see we can still have our luminosity there, but it's in the actual ice cube with its luminosity intact. So if you feel like more of the ice cube would have been taken it up by the distinction of the darkness, you just pull it up and you just do it till you get to a point where you like what it looks like. I want mine to be a little bit smoother for some reason. The ice cubes look a little bit taken up, but this looks cool. And you just want to play with this a little bit. There you go. I like that. And as you can see, the luminosity is intact. And press OK. Now, if you wanted to still play with the fill, if you feel it would be a little bit darker, just drop the fill down a little bit, maybe 85, because it is going to be frozen. I'll still play with the settings. The lighter color looks cool. Ooh, if you do linear dodge, it works a little bit better. So let's drop linear dodge on that layer too. And that looks pretty cool. That looks like it's in the ice cube. Now for this particular one, let's go ahead and just increase the ice cube a little bit, because the other one, it looked like it was smushed. So I want to take up all the space in the ice cube type. And since this is underneath the ice cube, it doesn't matter if you can't really see it too much because of whatever is going on in there. It's an ice cube. It's supposed to be frozen in there. So we'll worry about the color and getting the color right in a second. But right now, we just want to do what we just did, underline the layer for each ice cube. So same thing. This one, I like the settings that it has already. Maybe turn it a little bit. It's not stuck how it is, but smush it like that. I set it to linear dodge. Double click on it, make those adjustments the same way. Get it down to, I think we had it at 29. Stretch it all the way out. So you get the ice cubes looking like each one ain't gonna be the same. You just want to keep continuing to do these. I don't want it to get repetitive, but I know it's a tutorial, so we'll just keep going. Linear dodge, turn on the fill. Ooh, double click on it, underline layer. And you just want to do that for each ice cube. So we'll get into the color in 1 second. I'm going to speed past this because all I'm doing is the same settings for each one. Set them to linear dodge, adjust the fill, and adjust the underlying layer. So now all the skulls are in place. So now we're looking pretty good. If we go ahead and turn on our reference layer again, our reference layer is looking pretty good. If you look what we got, look what they got. I feel there's a little bit more squish and it feels like a little bit more they were melting inside of the ice cube, which doesn't make any sense. Like, how is it wet? If you're inside the ice cube, that means it's probably supposed to be frozen. And since we use skulls, it is a little bit different. So let's go ahead and create that group. Let's call this skulls. Save this. And now we can start making some adjustments to the actual skulls to make it work within our image. Let's go ahead and add a black and white layer on there. Create a clipping mask. And let's go ahead and start adding some color balance in here. And let's add another clipping mask. And for the clipping mask, I want to push them more into the blues because it is an ice cube. So getting those blues right, even in the shadows, let's go ahead and push those to blue, yellow, like bluish. We want the cyan, make it blue, make it look like it's in there. Yeah, push those shadows all the way. You want their shadows to match the colors that's already going in there. Even the highlights are white on the regular image. If you add that blue in there, that's throwing it off. Same thing with this one. So it's cool how it is. I like how we push the blues over. I feel like it needs a little bit of adjusting as far as the levels. Since we set everything to linear dodge, let's go ahead and just work on the exposure. So let's create a exposure adjustment layer. Create a clipping mask for that, and then let's go ahead and just adjust the exposure a little bit, the offset, give it a little bit of flatness because it is in an ice cube. And let's start adding some gamma in there. I feel like that works. It looks like those things are in the ice cubes overall. Now for this, I would add an overall gradient map to start getting all the levels right. I'll go into the regular blues and see what they have. If they don't have nothing I can work with. Okay, so they don't really have nothing for the blues. So I'm going under photographic toning for under legacy gradients. I will provide this for you guys for free. It'll be in this resource pack down below. I pretty much know I'm gonna use one of these because the thing with photographic toning, it uses photo filters pretty much from each color tone. So like all these are pretty much skin tones. This one is to give blues and greens. Same thing with here. So this is pretty much the one I want to go with because it looks like an X-ray a little bit. But I am gonna look at the other ones and see what they have to offer. Ooh, that one looks pretty cool too. That one looks pretty dope too. That one looks fire. That one looks cool. This one looks cool, but I just don't like the green that it has into it. So we're gonna go with this one. We can adjust the stops a little bit here. Push these stops up a little bit so it's a little bit less gray. So since it's over everything, we can go ahead and put dither. Go ahead and save that. I always try to play with the blending modes just to make sure I got the best one. Multiply looks really good. Ooh, hard light looks really good. We might go with hard light, y'all. Yeah, we're gonna go hard light, press enter, save, and then bring down that opacity just a little bit. So it's there, but it's not overtaking the image, but it gives it a nice balanced color palette. Because if you use 0 and we don't use anything, those skulls inside the ice cube still don't look realistic. But when we bring a little bit of color in, it gives it like a realistic viewpoint because it balances out all of the color hues have pretty much the same color adjustments. So the whites get the same effect, the blacks get the same effect, the blues get the same effect. This one looks a little bit more frosted. It looks pretty clean. Like I said, I think I want to add some text to give it some more depth and to show you guys how to use AI to create text effects using the same thing. So I think I wanted to say something. I want to say death cube. Yeah, let's call it death cube. Death cube. So file, new, you want to create a whole new layer. We're just gonna go 2000 by 2000. We'll make sure the background is white. We're gonna write black text. That's cool. I use XXI, don't mess with the Vikings. I don't know, that's a crazy name. And I'm cool with that. Maybe turn the kerning in a little bit so they're a little bit closer together. I like how that looks. Save this, file, export, save for web. We're gonna just save it as a JPEG, very high. We're gonna go to firefly.adobe. It comes free if you already have Adobe subscription. We're gonna go to Midjourney again, because we need to grab a dope ref image. So go back to explore. We're gonna type in ice cubes again because we got our ice cubes, but now we need something that's gonna make some text. I think this text works best for the cube. I feel like it's defined. So let's go ahead and just save this. We just call this ice cube dash text just to see if there's any others. This one looks pretty cool too. This one looks cool too. I just don't like the thickness of it. This looks pretty cool too. I like how the cube has a little bit of crack to it. This looks frozen solid. That looks fire. And right now we're just gonna type generate because that's how you usually just get in there and it'll give you whatever the text of the day was. You can just rock with that. This one we can go ahead and delete this. Pretty much what you're doing on Midjourney is trying to grab a prompt that you're gonna grab and put into Adobe Firefly. But let's go ahead and set it up first. In Adobe Firefly, we have image Firefly image 3. For us, we just wanna go ahead and use widescreen because our text is long. Art type is gonna be photo. And then we have a style image and then we have the reference image. So the reference image, just click this upload button and turn the strength all the way up. And now the style is the style that we want to be able to use. So we have this ice cube and then we have this ice cube. So let's just check to see what this ice cube gives us first. Opening it up. And now we still have to create some sort of text. Like I said, they have a bunch of different settings that you can do here. Studio lighting, backlighting, any type of, if you want dramatic lighting. I'm gonna keep camera angle as it is. And then tone, I'm not gonna put anything. And then for all this stuff, you can even type in hyper realistic digital art. So for me, I'm gonna go hyper realistic because we want it to look similar to our ice cubes. And then we need a prompt. Now we could just type in a prompt, but I like this. So superb detail, hyper realistic HD photography. So let's go ahead and copy these prompts over. And then I just want to remove the square piece of ice. I do want it on a black background. I do want studio lights. I do want superb detail. I want it to be hyper realistic. And I do want HD photography. Front view. Let me type in ice cube and then press try the prompt. And let's see what it gives us. Okay, so this is what it gives us. I like this. This is pretty good. This is a great first take. And it literally takes the cubes exactly how we wrote it and created this dope effect. This is the closest to what we want. So we could just download this and let it be. We can click up here in the corner. When you click edit, you can use the composition as a reference, use it as a style reference, or generate something similar. So let's go ahead and add and generate something similar. Press close. Let's see what the other three give us. Now it's starting to get a little off kilter here. So let's go ahead and drop back in our references, strength, visual identity. So maybe I can delete this flat design here. I still want this 3D feeling, but everything else is cool. Just press generate. And then you just want to play around with it a few different times. I want to try this one and I do want to try that other reference image just to see the different results that we get. And then let's see which one just works the best. This one is working. I like this flat ground. I like this ground. Well, let's go ahead and generate it again. This one is like the best, but it's still not very clear. And this is where you could use the upscaling. Maybe try to do no lighting if we remove the lighting off, and let's take off 3D and let's see what we get. This one is pretty good. I like the separation of each letter. and it does look like it's melting a bit. This one gives me the best ice cubey type of feeling. I feel this one just works better. I don't know, I'm torn, but this one is very, very clear. Same thing with this one. Turn the visual identity up. Let's type in ice cubes. Let's type in frozen. Maybe we could type in drips, see what happens. We getting somewhere. I feel this one works the best. I feel it stands out the most, and this is cool. And I like the texture in the letters. It looks the same a little bit. Okay, so since our text images came out not as sharp and blurry as our original image, we do have to start upscaling it. This is another free option. This is one I use. This is one that you actually have to download and use. And if you're not going to use it all the time, it's no point in wasting space on your computer. But you just go to upscale.org and just download the program. Once you download the program, you'll have this program right here called Upscale. So you're gonna go select that image. We're gonna go and locate our image where we saved our text at and go ahead and start uploading them. This one looks pretty cool. So general image, you select any one of these is cool. Me, I want ultra sharp. I'm gonna upscale it by 5. Double upscale just means it runs you through it twice. Select the output folder. We're gonna just have the same output and click upscale and just give it a second to work his little upscale magic. And now I'll show you the before and I'll show you the after. So before, after, before, after, before, after. It just goes and cleans up things. It doesn't look as blurry as it did before. And if you don't like how it looks, you can upload and rescale another one. So we've upscaled both of the images. I've dropped them both in here. I'm really messing with the first one as I look how it works with the image. This one looks really good too. I'm really torn like between the two. I feel this one has that cubey feeling that I was trying to go for. And this one, the reflection just goes for really what I want. So I'm pretty much going to stick with this one. We're going to just name this Death Cube. And then we could just put this underneath everything. So we just make sure everything still has the same feeling. Okay. And then we're going to set this to screen. And then we want to size this so it's about the same size as the actual ice cubes. And then we're just gonna move this all the way down to the bottom. So then it's falling in. So you see Death Cubes right here. We're gonna go ahead and just move the skulls and the ice cubes, select those and go ahead and just move those up. I wanna make it a little bit smaller so they fit the cube area right here. So they fit. And I like low-key, like, let's see if we can lay them on top of Death Cube text. If we make it as long as it is right now, move it up. And then it's hitting on it just so it's there enough, but it's not crazy. That's cool right there. I think it's a little bit of space right there because you just wanted to hit on top. You don't want it to get too crazy. For this ice cube here, this one, let's go ahead and just mask out that part a little bit using a soft brush and then maybe just clean it up just a little bit. So it's there, but it's not overly taking over. So this is cool. That's cool. And then they're all held up by the Death Cube. Let's go ahead and select everything and then just make everything a little bit smaller so everything fits in this 2000 by 2000 space that we have here. I think this is pretty good. I just want a little bit more space up at the top and that's cool. Now everything is sitting on top of the Death Cube and then you didn't sit here have to make your own perfect cubes for each letter. It just would have took too much time. You could have done the same thing in Midjourney too by using each letter or still using the character reference the same way that I just did. But yeah, instead of sitting there trying to figure out all these letters, blah, blah, we just utilized what we had available to us. We can go in here and just add in an exposure layer just so we can make sure everything is aligned. Just bring it down a little bit, drop the exposure down, throw the offset off just a little bit, and then bring down that gamma. I could add a frozen frame outline. I just don't want to get too crazy with it because this isn't the point of this. It's just to show you guys what is possible. If you want to have ice frigid falling off, you could, but just using AI for the ice cubes, AI for the text. We used AI, that 3D reference using Envato elements to create the skulls inside of the cubes. So that's fire too. I think everything looks like it matches. It doesn't look too crazy to me. It looks like it matches. And this is something real quick and easy if they don't have the money or you just want to do quick and easy. You just want to practice, you know, using and practicing your blend modes. If anything, I probably create a new layer Shift F5, fill it with 50% gray, and let's just add some noise in there. Filter, noise, add noise. You can do uniform or Gaussian. I always do Gaussian. And then we can set it to soft light, overlay. Hard light is gonna give you that, like that real movie-esque point of view. We just gonna go with soft light, call it a day. And if you want to add some more highlight or more glow to the actual depth cube, you can just duplicate it. You can add some more and then just bring down the opacity a little bit. But we're going to keep it as it is and go filter, blur, Gaussian blur. Give it an overall blurry feeling. Like 9 is fine. And then all we're going to do is take this and set it to screen and then just bring it down a little bit, based on what you want. But this gives a definitely glow to it. Same thing with the ice cubes. If you want to go ahead and duplicate the ice cubes, filter, make sure you convert it to a smart object, filter, blur, same thing, Gaussian blur, 9 point, and then put that on top of everything, and then still set this to screen. You can do lighten, but as you can see, the lightening, it gives it a softness to it. This softness a little bit brighter, matches what we already have. This one is pretty cool. If you do screen and then just bring the opacity down, that's cool. But I really like how lighten was hitting. Yeah, throw it on lighten, keep it at 100%. And that's cool, man. And that's that on this. You can keep adding stuff. I can add more ice cubes. I can add, like I said, a frozen frame. But sometimes you just have to just let well enough known. If it's cool, let it be cool. You don't got to keep touching stuff. But I just want to show you guys how you can use AI to just use the basics. As y'all can see, I had the AI ice cubes, but the AI ice cubes didn't make all of this. Ice cubes didn't put the skulls in there. The AI ice cubes didn't put the depth cube at the bottom. That's a whole nother program that I use to keep the same theme. If I wanted to, I could probably save an ice cube with the skull in it, and then went there and try to find a bunch of skulls with a bunch of ice cubes and then layered those on top of each other too. So there's a multiple different ways that you could do it. I just want to be able to show you guys using a few different elements that using a basic AI image and adding elements to it can create that same effect that you're looking for. If anything is looking funny to y'all, you can go back in there and edit. If I feel this needs a little bit more opacity to it, this is cool too. If I want to add it so it looks like it's frozen a little bit more, bump it up. That's cool like that. I ain't trying to take it away too much because you still want it to have some shadow in there because it is frozen. But if it was frozen, it's not going to be see-through black. So something like that. You feel me? So we're going to save that up. And that's it for the AI section. Like I said, I showed you how to do it on Firefly to create this depth cube. I will add a bonus at the bottom of this and then call it a day. Great work today, guys. I hope you took a lot away from the use of AI and how to use AI. It's multiple different ways. You don't necessarily have to just use AI to create a cover art without you doing anything. You do still have to have a little bit of skill to be able to make it do what you want it to do. You already know what this week's assignment will be. It will be about utilizing a few AI programs to create. Now, this does take a little bit of investment because Midjourney is $10 a month and I don't have any free cracks. Support these people so you can be able to use their programs and you can continue to better and further your career. Because if you have something that somebody else doesn't, that's only going to put you on the upscale for them to reach out to you before they reach out to that other person that's working off the crack Photoshop and stuff. But if you're working on the crack Photoshop and you're still nice with it and everything, then, you know, hats off to you. But I'm just saying. So until next time, I'll holler at you guys in the next class. Peace.